Hey, everybody. Tonight, we have a special guest with us, and that's going to be Fight and Defend and our dear friend Sandra Ann McGibbon, Sam. So, welcome, Sam, and welcome, John.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but uh, I want to gather a few people. We were blessed. We already had people in the chat, but gather a few people in here. And I have to thank some people. I have to thank Margot and Iron Crane and 12B Georgia and that Dangerous Freedom. Uh, and there was one more, and I promise you I'll try to remember before the end of the show. I want to thank for your PayPal donation. Uh, I hate to even ask, but I ask you to support my channel that I may grow, that I can, do more than what I'm doing, and I can keep bringing you the way I see it. So we're going to end it with that, and I want to remind you that on Sundays at 11 a.m. I have a Bible study, and then Sunday night at 8 p.m. after Alex, Disabled Vets Perspective, Dangerous Deplorables, Dangerous Freedom, and I come on at 8 p.m. And then Wednesday night, 8 p.m., I have my regular Deplorable Bobby show, and Tactical Technician is going to be my guest that night. So y'all make sure to be with us on Wednesday night for Tactical Technician. That'll be a great show. So, Sam, since you're the minority in this bunch, we'll start with you. Just give us whatever you got to say, and we'll go from there.
I'm Sam. I'm from Connecticut. I do Sam reports. I bring news that others may not be looking at but need to be aware of. And that's what I do as a part of our Patriot movement. And I love God. And that's first and foremost for me.
That's cool. John, I know most people know you as well. But go ahead and give us about a 15-second thing. And we're going to get into to this lady from Connecticut. We're going to get into something that's going on up there that affects her.
All right. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody that's writing. I can't, for whatever reason, write back here tonight. But yeah, we've got a lot of things to talk about. A lot is going on right now. It's crazy, actually, to try to keep up with everything. I'm one of those deplorables that Hillary can't stand, and I love every minute of it. I will do anything to drive that woman nuts and her trophies. So
I love it.
And we're ready to fight. So it's time that we really need to fight and fight hard, because everything that's coming out right now is crazy. So,
well, I'll tell you what, Sam, since you've got this really crazy deal going on up there in Connecticut, and that's right there in your home front yard. Explain to people what's happening, because I'll be honest with you, until I talked to you, I didn't even realize this was happening.
Okay, well, what's going on is I came across an article, and it turns out that what I call installed Governor Lamont in Connecticut, and he wasn't duly elected. That was a farce. But he is in favor with all the gun control and all of this stuff. But on the side, I came across this article about this guy. He's a senator down in Hamden, the New Haven area, and his name is Martin Looney. And what he wants to do now, folks, you may not know this, but Connecticut's broke. There is no money. They have misappropriated funding on both parties for a long time. And so what Connecticut used to be is not even near what it is now, because they'll even tax a plastic bag from the store for 10 cents. So this Martin Looney apparently made an announcement last month, which I wasn't aware of, but it's carried over to a couple days ago with another article that he wants to create inside the state of Connecticut's police body a new department. And the state new department is for the radical right-wing activists. Nothing about leftists, nothing about Democrat. It's a targeted hit group against anybody who doesn't think like this installed governor, Ted Lamont. And so that's what they're trying to pass through. There is a senator, and his name is, forgive me, I gotta go. with my notes. He's a minority leader, Len Farciano, and he is against this. Now, we don't have money in the coffers for the policing we have. So their idea is to make this whole state the first police state. And that's not socialism, folks. That's communism. And that means anybody they know, that means the registers of voters who are not a D are targets. And this is what it's about. It's police state. And remember, this is a state who started the red flag laws, and you've seen what's happened in America because of the folks that think that they're better than us, that could call themselves politicians from Connecticut. And it runs the gamut. I'm sorry, folks, you may not like this. It's not just Democrats. It's both sides of the party.
Yeah.
And they want to make this a precedent like they did with VA, now with Tennessee, with you don't even have to have, what is it called when you have a need to look into somebody's vehicle or whatever, a warrant or
Probable
search
cause.
warrant.
cost.
Probable cause. Yeah.
But right. If you buy outdoor tickets to music events and stuff like this, people don't even know this. So we are in a world of real pain, and we, as a society, and those who are listening, need to really put your thinking caps on and decide how you want to move forward, and as a team as much as possible. Because when divided, we are sinking faster than we can keep up, as everybody knows. And now they're introducing these bioweapons, and that's what it is. The coronavirus, it's a bioweapon. And it's plain and simple. They will weaken us. Then they could just take your gun because you can't fight them. And we've got to make a firm decision on how we're going to go about, where we're going to go about it, and do it as unitedly, because divided, we are falling. This loony, his father didn't even come into the United States until 1929. He came from Cork County in Ireland. His mother, however, is more interesting. And I didn't get all the information I would have liked. But in essence, her family came in around to the U.S. in about 1800. And it's on that side of the family that you get some really interesting things. Now, I have to do more research, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But they have a lot of shenanigans going on. Even this installed governor, Lamont, he has ties. It's him, Bobby, that has ties to J.P. Morgan. And I have to do some more research on that.
Right.
I can't right now remember who my source was, who was following the genealogy as well as the money. So it's a lot of work, as anybody who's done any kind of researching on their own, even just trying to Google something. Sometimes you run across barriers and you have to think outside the box on how to get around some of these curves they throw you.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Not only are they disarming Connecticut, now they want to make it the first police state.
And that's just absolutely. But the thing about it is what's so crazy. That is a total communist concept.
Yep.
I mean, 100% a total communist concept. We will have a thought police and a physical police against anyone who thinks differently than we do on the left. So that means that anyone on the right is a target.
Yep. Now
Earlier this week, I read an article that for the first time in Texas, folks, they want to put on body cams for the fire department. Mm-hmm. So they would be the emotion and facial recognition in Texas. So this is why you see me always going here, there, and everywhere around, because they are hitting us on all fronts.
Now that I do not. I have family in the fire department and the police department, and I do not understand body cams on a fireman. I mean, that makes no sense.
It's an easy way because people trust the fire department, and they're the ones that always arrive at every emergency.
Yeah, that's
it,
Bobby. I used to hear all the time the firemen tell our people we deal with, "Hey, I'm the fire department. I'm here to help you. This guy's the one who's going to arrest you."
Exactly. And there again, too, the fire department does get there a lot of time first.
Yeah.
And they see a lot of things that aren't there when the cops get there.
Right. Sam,
So,
a couple things on Looney. Number one is he's also a part-time teacher at Quinnipiac College.
Yes.
So
good for him.
here we go with our dumbing down.
He's got a PhD, actually. He does, but he didn't start his life in Connecticut. He started in Texas at the Knights High School in Texas. So I don't know what was really going on in the family dynamics, but it was clear by the time he started making a quote unquote some kind of name for himself, his parents were no longer together. His father didn't pass away in Connecticut. His mom and his grandmother did. So there's some history there for you, John.
Yeah. Well, he was caught in an interview. This is exactly what he said. When he was talking about the proposal for the new police department, which will be run by the state police, specifically for fighting far-right extremists. And he says, freedom of speech basically is unfortunate.
Unfortunate
in his view, that we still have freedom of speech.
Okay.
So he if he could have it his way, he wouldn't even be able to talk. It says, Mr. Looney told reporters, according to a report in Harvard Current, we want to be more aggressive in enforcing our laws and identifying likely sources of potential domestic terrorism acts against religious institutions and ethnic institutions. Now,
Looney's a loony.
Now, I'll tell you what the real reason is. I looked into this. Believe it or not, this all has to do with transgender kids in school. The suicide rate for transgender kids in school are going up, and they need to put a stop to it. So they're gonna suck our kids into this law. It's not just the adults. Our kids are going to get caught up in this law.
All right, here's what we need to do right now. All right, let's stop this insanity before it gets any further. Let's start at the home. Let's go back to when those kids were coming out of diapers. Let's go back to the times when the mother was dressing the boy up as a girl or as a boy because they wish they had the other sex or one thing or the other. I don't think for a minute that a 5-year-old kid knows their sexuality.
No.
I was reading an article the other day where a 5-year-old kid chose to be transgender. That is impossible. In my imagination, it's impossible. I mean, kids don't have the right to choose their gender. God did that for them.
Yep.
And until they reach the age of accountability, which I don't know what that age might be, but it's certainly higher than 12 years old before you can be accountable for every action you do. So I don't know what that age is.
It's adults.
Yeah, adults.
You're right, Bobby.
Exactly.
It's the adults. It's the parents who maybe didn't get the girl they wanted or didn't get the
That's
boy
it.
they wanted. And they immediately went into their own delusional, narcissistic behavior.
Yep.
I have a real light threshold when you involve our children as a tool, whether it's in a divorce, whether it's in society, whether it's in churches. I don't care. I have zero tolerance when you want to harm our children. And I don't care who you are, what color skin you have. I don't care what's between your legs. I only care about what's between your ears and if it's connected to your heart. Other than that, I have zero, nada for it. None.
Yep. And that's what, and that's the way all of us patriots are becoming. It's terrible. Call me heartless, call me uncaring, but you can only carry the insanity so far until it's so insane that it's not even worth your time to acknowledge.
Yeah.
But you have to acknowledge it because that's how they're fighting us.
Yeah.
And Sam, you tell the truth. That's why you dig deep and you bring up the stuff that a lot of people don't want to say. And I applaud you for that courage to do that. Um, you do, but that's what people need to hear. See, they need to hear the truth if they like it or not.
Yes.
That's why I say a lot of times y'all might get mad at me, and if you do, well, I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. And Sam, I appreciate you and John both for being like that, and I want you to continue that for the next 45 minutes. So,
one more.
Go ahead, John. I can see you're busting wide open.
Yeah, well, I got so much stuff over here. One more thing that he did say, and this, think about this. Unfortunately, people who entertain hateful beliefs are protected as long as those beliefs don't result in a hate crimes. That's what we're talking about. So he's coming after speech completely.
Yeah.
I mentioned this week about going the 1A group, because there's a lot of 1A auditors out there, and the 2A people who are fighting for our gun rights, among other patriots who I'm talking about the people who love our country and love the Constitution of the land, not the shredding of what we've been seeing in Criminal Hill in DC and the various state legislations and governors and all that malarkey. I mean that. It really is. We need to come together. It's about united we stand, divided we fall. And people, because we've been divided, we are tumbling so fast and furious, we can't keep up with it. And that's those of us who are willing to look that truth square in the eyes and pass it on, because it's not easy to do this, but it's the commitment to our country, to each other, to the love of our children, our grandchildren, and any possible future generations. This is the generation, apparently, that's been called to step up, not down, not stay flat on one step. It's about stepping up and taking care of your personal responsibilities. So when the fight comes, you're as best prepared as you can, and you're fighting as a team, not as individuals. Remember, you are not alone. They want you to believe that, but you are never alone, ever.
Yeah.
Amen, Sam.
Absolutely.
And one thing, while you were saying that, I was thinking about something, the way we have to look at the evil for what it really is. We have a city in this country who says it's okay to kill a baby after birth. They're trying to make that, just a common thing. Let the baby lay there for a little while, wrapped in a blanket on a cold steel table, and we'll talk about it, the mother and the doctor, and decide if this baby deserves to live or if it's going to die. And that is a fact in New York City. That is a fact.
It's all.
You also have a fact that you have no bail in that city anymore. That means no matter your crime, like you were talking, John, $700,000 or whatever it was worth of fentanyl. $7 million. Yeah, millions of dollars worth of fentanyl, and you walk free with no bail. You'll never return. And see, this is the shining light on the hill for immigration. Remember when the Irish and the Germans and all of them came over to Ellis Island? That was the shining light on the hill, and look what a cesspool it has turned into.
Yeah.
And California is no better. It's like they're trying to see who can go to the extreme, the furthest, the quickest.
Yep.
And it just blows my mind.
Well, part of that, Bobby, it's the waterways. They want control of shipping. You've got New York and California are your two biggest import-export on the shipping. That's a big part of this. We can't lose sight of what that's about either.
Well, I heard the other day that California was in negotiations with China for a deep water port on their coast.
China owns a portion of it out there already, Bobby, if I'm not mistaken. And you can thank Hillary for that. You're right. You can thank Hillary for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching this for a long time, and I'm starting to see a pattern, and they're all the same. With Looney, with Virginia, all of them.
Yeah.
Looney's another one. Pro-abortion. The taxpayer should pay for everybody's abortion. He doesn't want people to have guns. They've eliminated the death penalty. It's okay to sit around and smoke weed all your life. It's okay for handouts. But dang, we got to get the guns away from those crazy rednecks.
Actually, his family has ties to Virginia. That's all. He has, his
Oh, yeah.
family has currently or has had ties. You ready? Virginia,
Yeah.
Texas, Colorado,
Wow.
Oklahoma, Alabama, Ohio, and Connecticut.
I am
Minimum.
not surprised. Yeah. Spread them out. Divide and conquer.
That's
That's the
absolutely
point,
crazy.
isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, it just, it's coming at us from every angle. It really is. But hey, we're going to fight the fight, plain and simple.
Okay, so
I
that
might go down, but I'm going to go down standing up. I'm not going down on my knees, no matter what they may think. It's just not going to happen because it's not in my internal constitution. And I believe in Jesus the Christ and the power of his grace will shield me if I'm meant to be shielded. And if not, they better be prepared because this is going to be one wildcat that they have no clue what they're going to think they're going to deal with. I'm telling you, it's just who I am. And I believe in God's grace and God's shield of grace. So God will call me home, or I'm going to take one out as I'm going if I have to. It's just who I am. And it's not about violence. It's about self-protection, self-preservation now. That's the bottom line. That's what people can't quite conceive yet because they go along their independent days and everything appears good. But we are in survival mode, not only as Americans, but also as a species.
Yep.
This is huge.
Yep.
all right. Well, you have to go ahead. Go ahead, John.
On a good note, there's so much negativity. Ilhan Omar's bodyguard enforcer is under investigation by the FBI. A gentleman by the name of David Steinberg released 2 reports about Omar, and so her bodyguard threatened him over Facebook to do harm to him, and he's being investigated at this time by the feds. We'll
Okay. So we have Ilhan Omar, who came here under a false name with her parents.
Married her brother.
And then, about 10 years later, she married her brother to get him here. And then she married another guy. Then she divorced her brother. Then she married another guy. And now she's running around with one of her staffers. And she's paying him money that he shouldn't deserve. And she's being investigated by the House for doing so many illegal and wrong things. So what are they going to do? I even saw today they're talking about just kicking her out.
Yep.
I mean, but I don't think, in the district that she's in Minnesota, it's ultimately Muslim. I mean, they moved all the other families out when Obama brought them all in, and they just took over whole districts. So her district is predominantly Muslim. So if it's not her, will it be another Rashida Tlaib? So what are we looking to get? We have, I don't care, YouTube. We have a Muslim governor in Minnesota as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hide behind that word.
Well, you know what?
I'm saying nothing derogatory.
I think now, once it's done and final and this impeachment BS is done, it's going to be payback time. Retribution time is coming.
Yeah. And I hope that's what it is. I really don't know. Trump has put us in a precarious situation. He's wavered on a few things.
Yeah.
And he's been strong on some things. He's done a lot of good. But I'm not going to say it's the better of two evils, but Donald Trump, when he first came into office, he talked about not being a politician.
Right. And
maybe he wasn't when he got there. But we were talking about it earlier, Sam. Within a year, he was a politician. And so, we can only believe him. And he's the best thing we got going. So I'm going to vote for him unless he does something crazy on the Second Amendment. And then I'll do like a lot of people. I'll write in for somebody else.
Yeah.
He can't do it alone, though, Bobby and
No,
John. He
no.
just can't do it alone. That's why I was talking about teaming up, joining together, expanding our connections to other aspects of those who love the Constitution, because President Trump can't do it alone. And He's a figurehead, and he's doing the best he can within the framework and the laws and regulations and constitution that he can. But he is still perfectly imperfect as a human being. So
Right.
he's not going to get it all right. It wasn't delegated to him to be correct all the time.
Of course
So,
not. Of course
you
not.
know,
He's not
right.
Jesus.
Right.
Come on. Okay,
Exactly.
I nominate you, Sam, to be the founder of this foundation, and John and I'll be your first members. We'll pay our dues whenever you say it's time,
Yeah.
and we'll just lobby in DC.
He's got so much going on right now too. You know, you and I were talking, Bobby, real quick the other day about things are happening so fast we've already forgotten how
Yeah,
how long ago was when we just exchanged bombs with freaking Iran. You know,
yeah,
there's no more talk of that. I told you, I looked into that plane that got shot down. All right,
yeah.
all
Oh, yeah.
hush hush. What most people don't realize is on that plane was Iran's top nuclear scientist and his family that all
Yep.
died in the plane crash, along with many high-ranking officials.
Yep.
You hear nothing on it.
Something like 79 high-ranking Iranian officials.
Yep. The transponders and everything were shut off on that plane.
And tell me, why did it take 2 missiles by accident
Yeah,
to shoot that plane down?
it's crazy.
It's worse than crazy. It's
Yep.
like everything else. We get no truth. We get dribbles and dribbles, and that's all we get. And they tell you the truth that they've decided that they want you to believe. And that's the way it is. It's that way in our mainstream media today.
Yep.
You know, if you remember back to the Q drops, you know, I used to be a
Yep.
real big Q fan, and they talk about these 4 a.m. drops, and it works.
Yeah.
You saw yesterday, all of these websites, everywhere I went online was coronavirus, 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 everywhere.
Yeah.
And then this morning you get on there and you have to search it out to find it for coronavirus. Today, well, the talking point today is impeachment. So whatever they say, okay, at 4 a.m., here's your talking point, and then everybody from every different media outlet say the exact same words.
Right.
It's word for word.
Yep.
And Fox is as guilty as the rest.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Yes, yes.
They're getting there.
You know, I go to Breitbart and to the Daily Caller and all those others, and they're all doing it.
Yeah.
They're all falling prey to the mainstream media talking points.
Yep.
That's why I look around to a wide variety of sources, and people have wondered, why don't I tap on to just what the headlines are? I said, everybody's covering the headlines.
Exactly.
What you need to know is what they're distracting you from too, and it's not just federally, it's state, it's local. Demons don't have boundaries, people. They don't care. Demons are
Right.
running amok in this world, and unless we put on the full armor of God, do our truth, trust in Jesus, and pray and be proactive in a positive way, we are sunk. And it's
Yep.
just that simple to me anyway.
Yep.
Can I
Yeah.
extrapolate on that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, I got you. Now you mentioned those demons, and I got to tell you where I think they come from. I got to tell you who I think they are. Who, in my heart, I know they are. These demons. If you'll remember, all right, everybody, quick lesson. It's not going to be a Bible lesson. It's just going to be a quick story. So anyway, it says in Genesis 6 that there were giants in those days and after that. Okay. Well, those giants in those days were the Nephilim. They were the sons of the daughters of men and angelic beings. Okay. Do we understand that is what a Nephilim is? Anyway, these people were of the earth. God said that in the Bible. They were of the earth. Well, man's not of the earth. Man is of the earth and spirit. And then the angels were of spirit. So here, these are of the earth. And so they have no soul, so they can't ascend to heaven. They can't descend to hell Instead, they're doomed to roam the earth as evil spirits. So there's where your demons come from. These are the demons that are possessing our politicians and our actors and all these people in power. I totally believe like you did. You said they were demons. They are demon possessed. I believe it to my heart because they sell their souls to Satan because for anything for power, even in the music industry or Hollywood or government, it's not so much just for the money. It's the power, the power that you feel over other people. Am I wrong?
No.
Control.
It's
about controlling the earth. Remember, we have earth is the devil's playground. What we don't know is when that's going to be fully in effect. But we're seeing all of it's like I would tell people it's like when you're pregnant and you're going to give birth. The contractions get tighter and tighter and more intense the closer you get to being born. So this is the same kind of concept. To me, anyway.
One other thing real quick.
Go right ahead.
In the middle of all this, the warden that was in charge of Epstein, Bill Barr asked that he was removed from New York from the prison system.
Right.
And he was. Now he is working at a federal prison in New Jersey. A nice cush federal job at a federal prison in New Jersey. Isn't that a quinky dink?
It's amazing.
Look at face. Where's Barr on this? You have to wonder. Where is Bill Barr on this? I'm sorry, folks, but these are questions, whether we like them or not, that we still need to ask. Where are these people who are supposed to be gung-ho for America, for the Constitution, to help Americans? Where are they? Now, maybe it's like Q said, which, Bobby, you mentioned earlier, and these people eventually will not be able to walk down the street. But we haven't seen any of it yet. But we have to get those words out. Thank you for that, John.
You know, and you're exactly right. And what kills me is why Trump, in February, after he took office, he signed that executive order that corruption and trafficking of any kind is punishable by the death penalty. You know, and it's been going on 4 years now, and just after 3 years, and I haven't seen anybody arrested. I haven't seen anybody walked. I haven't seen any of the elite. You know, you hear these little stories about these, neighborhood guys and local people getting arrested all across the nation, which, that they've always done that with sting operations. But I'm ready to see some of the big names go down, just like I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
I still the poison's gone very deep, Bobby, in all facets of our lives: school, politics, pharmaceutical. I can't even grasp how big and how massive this is, and how deep those tentacles are. When you've got children already out of high school that can't even tell the right from left, can they read? Can they write? What's between their legs? They're questioning. I mean, so this is I understand the amount of time is frustrating as it can be. And the thing is that really, though, we've still got to look at the other side of that. Like you're saying, it's about the hard truth and the possibilities. If you're a dreamer, if you are somebody who writes, your mind goes to different areas and you start to look at things from different perspectives. It's not that you're buying any one of them, but you still have to say, hey, what's going on here? Where does this lead? Like we go down the rabbit holes. It's the same kind of concept. They could be deep. They could be shallow. They could last a long time. They could be short. We don't know yet.
A lot of them are deep. I'll tell you what, I've been chasing a lot of rabbits this week. And they're going deep. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, I just got a thing, Bobby.
Go ahead.
Over in China, police shoot person with coronavirus in China. The heading came across and they show a picture on the ground. They shot him. It's a live picture.
He left his home.
It must be. He must have disobeyed an order and they shot him.
Wait a minute.
I heard about that just before I came on.
That's understandable. He had an order not to come out of his house, and he decided to come outside, and so he broke the law. So yeah, we just need to kill him.
Yeah.
Because see, he could be carrying that virus and maybe he caught it through his eyes. Do you believe that crap now?
God.
Now you can catch the coronavirus through your eyes. That was a terrible way to lead up to it. I hated that the young man got killed. I really do. But then again, that is the normal thing for China to do, is to kill, torture, imprison, re-educate, and tell them how many kids they can have and what sex they can have, because they're communist China.
Yep.
That's what communists do. They kill their own.
Yep.
Because they don't care.
This video won't be on very long. He took a shot to the face.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can send it to me right quick
I don't
on
need to see
my
it.
yeah, they shot him.
email.
They shot him right in the face, Bobby.
Just walked up to him and shot him.
Yeah.
I'll be
Got
dang.
him. There was a face shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no.
As a paramedic, I've seen stuff like that, so I can imagine.
Well, that was another Friday night in my town years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You want me to jump on this Harvard situation?
Yeah, go right ahead.
This came out the 28th. Charles Lieber, the chair for Harvard University Department of Chemistry and Chemical Biology,
Spit it out.
biology, has been arrested and criminally charged with making false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements. The
Okay.
U.S. Department of Defense said he had ties to the Chinese government program to recruit foreign scientists and researchers. Mr. Lieber had worked a deal with China's Wuhan University of Technology.
Now, wait a minute. He's here in the States, and he's got a deal with the Wuhan University of
From
Technology.
Harvard.
Yeah,
Harvard, Bobby.
he was a
Wow.
he's a Harvard professor, but he went over and he started working at the Wuhan University of Technology, bringing all his knowledge from the U.S. over there. They were paying him $50,000 a month plus $150,000 a year for living expenses, and then they gave him a $1.5 million contract to establish a research lab and conduct research for Wuhan.
All right, so it came at $750,000 salary plus $1.5 million on top of that.
After everything's done, they have over $8 million invested in them.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, this all broke because they caught two guys, both from China. One was from a woman. She was working at Boston University, and they caught her with vials of biological material at Boston Logan's Airport. She was trying to leave the States.
She was leaving the States with those biologicals.
Yep.
So we can only guess that she was flying to Wuhan to give more biologicals to their professors. So it looks like it's an international crime ring to me.
Yep.
Probably orchestrated by the Chinese government.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he-
they're from China. They get their marching orders from their bosses. Mhm.
So he's looking at corporate espionage.
So though he's still in China, but he is a United States citizen.
Oh, he's back here now. He's been
Oh,
charged.
he is? Oh,
He's
he's a
back there.
fool. He should have stayed there.
Yeah, he's back here. He's been charged. He got served on hang on. I think it was Monday
Well, good.
where they served him. He was he had a doctorate's degree in chemistry from Stanford University and joined Harvard in 1991. His academic career included stops at California Institute of Technology.
Gee, what a big surprise.
Hmm.
Not. None of this is and here we are in the middle of an outbreak where they still can't tell you what the numbers are, how viral it is, viral. I mean, anything. They really can't, because you know what? I don't think they know themselves. They create this stuff in these secret back rooms, and then when they release it, nobody knows the truth.
Right.
And then they're doing a massive run. I don't believe in the pharmaceutical companies because they don't do what's good for the people. It's about lining pockets, favors, etc. Power, what you said, Bobby, earlier, power over. It's about power over everybody else that they perceive not equal to them.
That's right. You're exactly right.
Well,
and go ahead, John.
It's like I say with the Democrats, they don't worry about what the end result's going to be.
Oh no, they don't see past their nose. They
don't
say,
care.
what's it going to do today? Because tomorrow the news will be different.
Yep.
We'll have a different talking point tomorrow.
Yep.
Well, I think maybe they've got a talking point now that they can't sweep under the rug as quickly as they did the impeachment and the Mueller probe and the Manafort deal and the Iran deal. You know, all that stuff just happened a few weeks ago, and it's all under the rug now. You don't hear nothing about it. Sure,
Yeah.
Impeachment's going on, but you know, the only reason you saw stuff on impeachment today was because they had to hush the stuff up on the coronavirus because too much was getting out. So today it was almost a blackout.
Well, I told you, Bobby, earlier today, I just got a report that our upper echelon military folks, upper echelon military has been stockpiling food big time. So they've been well aware that this was going to come down, and guess what? We don't matter. Our kids don't matter. Our grandkids don't matter. Nothing that we perceive as important to us personally matters, but the upper echelon of the military, along with the hooky dooky people up there calling themselves politicians, the criminals, guess what? They'll survive. Well, the rest of us can sink or swim. Good luck.
Do you know what that is?
And that's really angers me.
That's the same thing you would see in North Korea. Exactly the same thing. His elite guard would live, and they would eat meager, but they would live. But the elites would have all the comforts. And it's the same thing.
And if our military's doing that, Bobby.
Exactly. So, you know, my question is, who do we trust? I mean, where do we put our allegiance? I put my allegiance in the flag, and I put my allegiance in the Constitution, and to my friends in the Patriot family and people that I know I can trust and depend on. Because I'll tell you, I don't know how long we can depend on our government to do for us the job that they're supposed to do. It seems like every day they're just wearing away at our rights. They're tearing away at our freedoms. They're doing everything and anything that they can to make us a third world country. So where does the fight start? And I know where it ends, but where does the fight start? What will be the catalyst to finally bring this to either a quick end or to a drawn out disaster? And it's going to be a disaster either way. But you know, what are we going to see here? We've already got this virus now. It's eating us up. It's worldwide. It's in at least 25 countries, counting China. You know, and China's numbers have doubled almost overnight, you know, from deaths and cases. I mean, they're well up in the, you know, the teens now with their cases, teens of thousands. But it's probably more than that. So where do we stand? How do we fight this battle?
Well, we're doing this now, but I don't think we're going to be doing this forever.
Yeah, you're right. One day they'll pull the plug.
Each one of us is do what we can. Whether Bobby, you're doing your regular different shows, John, your research, mine putting out information that maybe others aren't seeing because there's so much distracting us over there or here. And, you know, we can only make a decision. But I do agree with our preppers. If we're not prepping, then you're in trouble. Yeah. So is it your family. Praying is a big thing. All, you know, do what you can. I mean, that's the thing. But you need to really get gut honest is what I call it. get gut honest and what is the worst. Expect the best, but pray and prep for the worst. And it's kind of basically simple like that to me.
That's right. Yeah, and some people don't have the room to prep. I mean, I can prep for about 2 weeks, but I don't have enough room here in the house to safely keep it safe and fresh for more than that. But we do need to be prepared because even a simple blackout in your hometown or your area for more than 24 hours is going to put people in the streets looking for things that they don't have. The grocery stores in the first 24 hours are going to be empty. They're going to break into the grocery stores, knock the windows down. There's not going to be any cops to come to them. And that's just what they do in a blackout. They loot.
Yeah.
They're going to take all the food. There's going to be nothing. And then within a few days later, within 3 or 4 days, well, they've ate all that, it's went bad and spoiled. So now they're coming for what you've got.
Yeah.
And that's when we need to prepare is before it happens.
Yeah.
And
let me say this again, and I can say this from personal experience. All right. Law enforcement, if you read the statute, does not have to protect you. They are there to investigate a crime after it's been done. They do not have to protect you. Remember that, people. That is utmost to remember. Seriously, do not count on law enforcement. I know down here in my area, I've talked to many of the sheriffs, and everyone has said the same thing. I'm going home with my wife and kids. You're on your own.
Exactly.
I had actually had one sheriff to tell me to get out of this area.
Really?
Oh yeah. He said,
well, it's funny on the police cars around here. It always has protect and serve.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're eliminating that now from a vast number of states and vehicles. If you look, not all of them have protect and serve.
You're exactly right. The newer ones don't have it. It's just the older ones.
And
that's right.
And you notice they don't have the American flag on them anymore either.
Yeah, and used to, if you locked your keys in your car, you could call the cops and they'd come out and open your door for you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's becoming a thing of the past. Is this an emergency, sir?
Yeah.
Well, no. Do you have a child in the car? No. Well, I suggest, do you have insurance? I suggest you call AAA.
A lot of big cities, simple theft and stuff now, they don't answer them anymore.
Well,
yeah.
I live in a pretty slow town, so if they had a simple theft, they'd probably all run. But not much happens around here. It's not very exciting, But there again, I'm living in this little cocoon, just far enough away from Atlanta and just close enough to the mountains. And
yeah, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, so it's good. When I get ready to bug out, I know which way I'm going. So, yeah, got to keep it that way. But you got to have a bug out bag. Everybody needs to have one. Everybody needs to have a first aid kit, a good flashlight. Keep the batteries changed. Keep fresh batteries in your bag. Get you some MREs or some kind of granola foods. Stuff that you like to snack on and eat that are high protein and high carb, and just make sure you got plenty of water.
Yeah.
It's worth your weight to carry as much water as you can if you have to bug out, because water.
Yeah.
You'll last 3 days without water, and you can last 30 days without food. And that's the truth. We are 85% water.
Yeah.
And we need water every day to survive. And without it, our organs shut down and we die. It's that simple. So water is going to be, and if you don't have water, one thing I wanted to say, Sam, if you don't have water, you need to have purification tablets or some type of filter to purify water.
Or even a straw if you have, anything like that. Yeah.
Because in the north right now we have winter, and to leave bottles or water in their vehicles it turns just to ice.
Right.
So it's a hit and miss on some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing here in the summertime about where you store it, because if it gets so hot, and then the plastic reacts with the water, and then it's not fit to drink. So you got to keep your water and stuff in a temperature controlled 70 to 75 degrees year round,
And-
kind of atmosphere.
And the big thing too is find a couple neighbors. Like where I am, I have a guy at one end of the street and another guy at the other end of the street. I'm in the middle. We have a two-way radio system set up. So if anybody comes down the street, we know. I'm on city water. Well, one of my buddies has a well. So
Right.
he's our water guy. I have extra propane tanks. And then when propane runs out, I have bags upon bags of charcoal for cooking. So I'm responsible for the cooking. We all have gardens. And then the other guy ended up buying the radios and the communication and stuff. So.
Well, that's pretty neat. You can bug out and go nowhere.
Absolutely.
That's the best part.
Well, see, that's what I'm
that's
probably
pretty
going to
good.
have to do as well. My mother, bless her heart, she's 88 years old, and she's lived with me for the last 15 years, maybe even 20. It's been a long time since I was married. But anyway, we've been together, and bless her heart, I can't leave her, and she's too frail to travel. So I'm going to have to bug out right here, and just take it as it comes. Be prepared with ammo. I've got over 1,000 rounds for my carbine and my pistol, and about 500 rounds for my shotgun. So I have my Antifa axe that Nice Armory made me hanging here.
Yeah.
And all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I'm prepared. There's enough food here for about 2 weeks.
Make a comment. CLC there wrote about getting a hand pump, and you're right. You don't have to go very deep here in Florida, CLC, to get water. Just make sure you boil it, but you'll be good to go. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, and it's nice to be in a place where you do have close groundwater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that option here. There was an old dried well in my backyard when I first moved here that I filled in, and it was about 30 foot deep, and it was dry as it could be. So you got to go a long way for water here in the foothills of the Appalachians.
Oh, yeah.
And if you live on a hill, the water's a long way off. Maybe if you live in the valley, it might be a little closer. But most of our wells here in Georgia, I've seen 300-foot wells, to reach water. We don't have a lot of surface water here, but we do have some beautiful brooks and streams coming out of the mountains. We've got some really beautiful, clean water.
That's clean water.
Yeah.
That's moonshine water.
Well, I was talking to Dangerous Freedom the other day, and I was telling him about how clear and clean that water is, and how many times I've drank right from the stream. And he would say, "Oh, how could you do that without purifying it?" And I said, "Well, on the way up into the mountains, in this one little spot, there's a cliff there that's part of the roadside, and it's got a pipe coming out of the mountain, and that pipe has a stream of water coming out of it.
Yeah.
And there are cars backed up for half a mile on either side of it, waiting to go up there and to get a drink of that clean water." And I remember when I was a kid, I loved it then. And every time I go up there, I still stop and get me a glass of that clean mountain water coming right out of the mountain. Right out of the middle of that mountain.
I've had it before. Nothing is better.
Oh, man, it is. It's fantastic. And, of course, that's where the good moonshine comes from.
Oh, yeah. A jar clear, as we call it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you put it in a dirty radiator. When it goes in, it's clean.
That's absolutely. That thing will be flushed right out. Be the best running truck you ever had.
It's funny now, though. Used to, I knew where to get corn liquor, and I knew people that had it. And, of course, it was a contraband item at that time, but now they sell moonshine in the liquor stores.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, if you want to buy a gallon of moonshine, go buy a gallon of moonshine.
Did you see that there's some show? I don't know the name because I don't watch TV, but I happened to have been at a neighbor's when she told me about it. It's they're calling it like it's a hillbilly or backwoods or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have the moonshine. They know where the stills are, and it's really kind of funny. because it's kind of like a standing joke between the police and the distillers, because they're, they move around. The police aren't dumb, but they get it because they like their moonshine too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always been that way. Up in the hills, you've always had cops. Even back in the days of the moonshine runners. And Junior Johnson, who was
Oh yeah.
famous for getting NASCAR started, he
Yeah.
was a moonshiner,
Yeah.
and they even made a movie about it called Thunder Road. If you've never seen Thunder Road, YouTube it, Google it, do something with it. Watch that old show. It's from the 1950s. Robert Mitchum plays in it. It's called Thunder Road, and it tells you all about running moonshine. But when they ran moonshine, the local cops didn't bother them. It was the G-men,
Yeah, the G-men.
and that were after him. The G-men, the government men.
Yeah.
They were the one. They were. You ain't getting no taxes on that liquor, And could you believe that they had prohibition on alcohol?
Yeah.
And look at the money. Look at the money that the state, the feds, and of course the liquor outlets make. Everybody's getting rich.
Yeah.
If they did the same thing with marijuana, and
it's going to happen.
we could be, our physical debt could go away in 2 years.
Well,
if the government, put it,
if they spent it correctly, but see it.
Well, yeah, if all the proceeds went, to one thing, we could pay off all kinds of debts with just pot money, because there's more potheads in America than you would ever dream.
Oh yeah.
There's people I know that I don't know if they smoke or not, but most of the people I do know smoke. It's just because everybody you meet these days does, and it's crazy.
I had property in Tennessee at one time, and the last time I was down there, I was talking with a guy whose family had run moonshine for generations, and he was saying he still does, but all of his friends around him have all gone to growing marijuana.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's one of the few left in that area.
Well, I'm not calling any names, but I have a friend of mine that is actually a grower, and he supplies medical marijuana to medical dispensaries, and does pretty good with it.
Yeah.
But of course he has to be federally licensed and all that, and he has to pass background checks and all that before you're allowed to do that. But, process.
Listen, it doesn't matter if it's moonshine or if it's weed or what have you. The government doesn't give a rat's behind whether it's good for you or not. The only time it's illegal is when they're not getting tax money out of it.
When they're not getting their cut. Yeah.
That is it. That's what it comes down to, plain and simple. Just like the drug trade. They're not getting a cut on it. So what do? They start methadone clinics. Methadone is just another form of dope, and they're making a killing out of it.
Methadone is exactly like heroin.
Yeah.
It is a man-made synthetic heroin. That's what methadone is.
But they're making money off.
I hate to say it. I had a brother-in-law and a father-in-law who used to go to methadone clinics, and they would drive 110 miles each way every day. Every morning they'd drive 110 miles to get their pill, because that was the closest dispensary. They lived in South Florida, South Alabama. They had to drive to Montgomery.
Yep.
So it was 110 miles from where they were at in Dothan.
Wow.
And they'd drive that every day to go get a pill. And as soon as they stopped taking the pill, they went right back to eating handfuls of oxycodones and everything else. And, but yeah, my family on my wife's ex-wife's side, they were a bunch of drug addicts, and actually that's what happened to her. She became an ice head and destroyed the family, and she had to go away.
That's too bad.
No, well, that's life, and that's one thing about life. Sam, I'm 64 years old here in a couple of months, 65 in a couple of months, and I swear to God, I feel 20. And It doesn't matter of all the bad things that's happened in my lifetime. It doesn't matter because I'm still here, and I'm not falling apart completely yet. But in my heart and in my mind, I still feel 20, 25 years old. I still feel young.
Hey, there's something said about it. Look at Willie Nelson.
Well, my can do can't keep up with my want to all the time, but I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to thank y'all for being here tonight with me. It's been a lot of fun. It's been one of the easier shows that I've had to do. I have actually not looked at any notes or anything else. You guys carried the show. You were amazing. You're a great guest, and I hope to have both of you back on again or separate. So stay in touch there, Sam. You do the same, John.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody out there, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, John.
One more thing, Bobby.
Go right ahead, brother.
This is directed to you, Sam. I called one of my insiders today about the Connecticut thing, and he told me not to get too concerned about it because the morale for the state police is at the lowest it's ever been because of the way that the governor has shifted the higher ups around.
There you go.
He said, don't get too concerned about it because they're not cooperating already. So just a word of thought.
John.
Big thumbs up to you there for that.
Thank you, chat.
Yeah, chat. Thank you for being here, guys. Anonaki, Patty, Steve Bevins, DM Damod, greatest mod on YouTube.
Thank you, everybody.
PLC in Florida, Iron Crane, Eric Shaw. Y'all guys, I love you. I'll be back here Sunday morning at 11 a.m. With a Bible study, Sunday night at 8 p.m. with Dangerous Deplorables. And then Wednesday night, I'll have Tactical Technician with me. He's going to be a great guest. So y'all come in Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I'm Deplorable Bobby. This is the way I see it with my dear friend Fight and Defend and Sam. So Sam, thank you. Thank you, John. And I'll be talking to y'all shortly. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. God bless everybody.
Good night, everybody.